to the BB&T Center where tip-off between Utah State and Florida is right around the corner. Hey, there's a couple of things that you need to know about Craig Smith. First of all, he's the oldest of 5 boys. Also, growing up, he was a huge fan of wrestling, especially when it came to Hulk Hogan and the Road Warriors. So when he got the job as head coach of Utah State, he said that he wanted to really bring that mentality to the way that his guys played on the road, especially when it came to barreling into an arena. He had the t-shirt made that I was wearing. The team has really embraced it, and guys, they have played so well away from Utah State.
All right, thank you, Jessica, and especially with the addition of Neemias Queta. Queta is back. This is his 2nd start after the knee injury in the summer, and he wins the tip to Sam Merrill. Bob Wetzel, what kind of tempo are we going to see in this one?
Well, I think Utah State runs great stuff, and they will, if you play poor defense, they'll shoot early. If you go play great defense, they'll go deep into the shot clock.
And Merrill, good shooter, misses his first jumper. And here comes Florida, their first possession. Andrew Nembhard, the young sophomore point guard. There's Blackshear, the transfer from Virginia Tech. And the rebound, he rips it away from Bean.
Wow.
And then gets it back up off the glass.
Well, Kerry Blackshear just made a statement, my friend. He said, I am going to go right at the shot blocker, and he does, but misses. Right here, look at Queta. Helps on Nembhard and then comes over here. But Blackshear stays with it. At number 34, Bean is the leading rebounder in the United States college basketball right now.
And it's Bean who gets the foul. It looked like he fouled him with his jaw.
Well, I'll tell you what, these are 2 very, very good teams. This guy was a walk-on at one juncture. I mean, I love him. I admire his game. I mean, he's got 8 double-doubles on the year, and he's just relentless on the glass. Good start for the Gators. They got it to their best player, and he produced.
Yeah, a couple free throws. And a 2-0 start. Merrill. Now this is Queta, Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West last year. Gets it on a little pick and roll. Abel Porter from the corner.
That's beautiful. They know what they're doing, huh?
Yes, they do. Abel Porter, a point guard who can shoot the 3. Although he and Merrill share the point guard duties. Noah Locke, Blackshear, good look inside. Locke was open, turned down the 3. That's a 2, and he misses it.
Look at that rebound out of his area. I thought Nembhard should have taken that shot.
Brock Miller is a volume 3-point shooter.
70% of the shots he takes are from 3-point range. Florida's not an overly fast team.
Nembhard falling away. Merrill has the rebound.
Merrill's going to be in the NBA next year, I believe. He is way up in scoring, assists, steals in the history of Utah State basketball, which is pretty good. They've been to the NCAA tournament 21 times.
Do you think Queta will be there as well?
No doubt about it.
As a strip and a steal, Keontae Johnson transition for Nembhard, and Merrill knocks it out of bounds.
I'll tell you, Keontae Johnson is a terrific player. He's only a sophomore, and he's a small power forward. And this guy gets things done for Florida. Other than Blackshear, I think he's their best player.
Florida plays with a really high motor.
Yep. How about this one-on-one, huh?
Blackshear misses. Queta the rebound.
Queta, as we mentioned, only his 4th game. He played 29 minutes in the last game, which they needed an overtime win. But he is not in game shape as he was last year. He was hurt in Portugal. He's from Portugal. He was hurt in Portugal in a FIBA event. He did not have surgery on his knee, but he is a guy who is really, really a terrific player.
Just underway, Florida and Utah State. Omar Payne in the game right now for Florida. This is Noah Locke. Falling away, it's a 3, and it's short, and Payne's tip won't go. Merrill has the loose ball. Utah State 11-2. Their road losses were against good teams. At St. Mary's.
And BYU, it wasn't a road. The BYU game was in Salt Lake City, neutral site game. The Beehive Classic. Utah is the Beehive State. And they played, and then Utah played Weber State, the school of Damian Lillard, as many NBA fans know.
BYU is off to a terrific start. They won that game by 4. And of course, Keita was just coming back. He didn't play at the St. Mary's game, and he was just back, and not at full strength against BYU. Lewis rises and misses the jumper.
Lewis is unusual. McDonald's All-American, but Lewis is a guy whose defense is ahead of his offense as a freshman, which is extremely unusual.
Especially for McDonald's All-Americans.
Yeah.
Merrill spinning. Got it up and in.
Yeah. He's deadly. Averages nearly 18 points a game. He's an 86% free throw shooter. He's scored 1,777 points coming into this game.
Payne, you got a pair of bigs in right now for Florida. Locke rolls off it, missed the runner. Keita lost the rebound. Locke steals it.
Nowhere to go.
Shot clock reset at 20. Nemhard, and that's a turnover for Florida. Florida started 0 of 8 from the field.
Sam Merrill is a 6'5" guard, and when he gets guys on his hip, watch as he gets into the lane here. Nemhard is a 6'5" guard too, but no match for Merrill when he gets close to the basket. 7th career scorer, Utah State. 3rd career assist, 10th career steals. How's that for a career? Huh?
That's,
wow.
He's not done yet. Keita rolls off the screen. Anderson spins. Porter, another corner 3. And Florida saves it.
A lot of subs in right now. 2 freshman guards right here, Mann and Glover. Glover's a penetrator. Mann is a very good one-on-one player.
Blackshear, he's now 6 of 24 from distance, tried the 3. This is Diogo Brito with a 3 for Utah State, as both benches have made appearances early on here.
Yeah, I think both coaches are concerned about the fatigue factor in a game like this. They know it's going to be a high-level game, so they want to get subs in early so that those guys, if they have to make important decisions in the second half, they'll be warmed up.
Florida is cold, 0 for 10 from the field. And Alfonso Anderson misses a 3.
This is very unusual. I'm looking at Blackshear, and his left foot, he is not, there's something fishy with his left foot. If we can show that at some point. He's not putting any weight on his left foot on his heel. He's walking only on his toe on his left foot.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's something going on there.
Gingerly as well. Cold start by both Florida and Utah State in the Orange Bowl Classic. The 2019 Orange Bowl Classic is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile and by the BB&T Center.
This is a good start for Utah State. They come on the road. This is not a home game from Florida, but clearly it's in Florida, and most of the fans are Florida fans. So what happens for Utah State, they come in, and their coach now tells them at the timeout, great defense, guys. We got them 0 for 10, 0 for 3 from 3. Builds up the confidence on the road, which is what you need.
Yeah, never mind our 2 for 8 shooting, but great defense.
This guy started until Keita came back, Alfonso Anderson.
He muscles it up, missed it, tipped out of bounds, and it goes to Florida. Utah State's a little deeper than they were last year.
Yeah, I think so too. Alfonso Anderson adds a lot. I mean, he's a powerful, powerful player, number 10 for Utah State.
Of course, Florida's very young. Wes Glover.
These two are 2 freshmen, as you mentioned. Wes Glover and Mann, both 2 freshmen.
Trey Mann versus Blackshear. Drop step, trying to get in tight. That's a great play by Porter to double down and swipe it away.
Nice hands, right? Porter and Merrill, AAU teammates from 7th grade.
On that one, up on the rim. Trevin Dorius couldn't hold it for Utah State.
Dorius, Heber City, Utah.
Man, a floater, offensive foul. Dorius held his ground outside the circle.
When you go to Park City to go skiing, you go through Heber City. And number 32 is from Heber City, and right there, perfect position. Nicely done.
Of course, you know that landscape. You were an assistant at Utah long ago, right?
Yeah. Go skiing there, too. Love it.
Let's see if Utah State can get Merrill going. Player of the year.
Merrill likes to survey. You know, Rich, he dribbles a little bit with the point of surveying the situation.
How about nice is that?
That is beautiful. And now we talk about Keita being out early, right? I mean, he's the man, but he's out of the game early. And I think fatigue sets in quickly with him since he's recovering from his long stay without playing.
That's offensive. Glover dropped the shoulder, extended the arm.
Now we got two. There's Keita right there cheering his team. Keita put on 25 pounds. He went to the combine last year, and they said, you got to get stronger. So he put in 25 pounds, and he's carrying that. So it's a little tough for him. Right here, we're going to get that was a walk also, but he charges. So we got two freshmen on consecutive possessions making charge plays, both Glover and Mann. And both of them were terrific against Providence.
Dorius kicks back out. Anderson driving on Johnson. That's offensive. Right?
Yes, indeed. Keontae Johnson really is a 3, but he plays 4 a lot for Florida. And that can be an advantage for him. Craig Smith, Coach of the Year last year in the Mountain West in his first year. He is a high-energy dude, I can tell you that.
4 years as a head coach at South Dakota. Won a conference title there. Assistant for Tim Miles at Nebraska. Back into the ballgame is Justin Bean, and he has that loose shot. Boy, Florida hasn't scored in 7 minutes. Dorius can't hit the layup. Bean has a rebound, and it's a held ball, and the arrow's going to go Florida's way. This is not a thing of beauty here. 7-2 Utah State.
What we're seeing here, Rich, is freshmen making errors, okay? I mean, Mann, you know, didn't even draw iron on that last shot. He charged. Quez Glover charged, okay? This is inexperienced, and you got to go through it. I mean, you can't, you don't want them doing nothing out there. You want them trying to do things, right? But as a result, the inexperience can really hurt you.
Boy, Dorius with a block. Nemhard, 18-footer. Good rebound inside.
How about this?
Strong putback, Johnson. Still only 2 points for Florida.
Dorius is doing a terrific job in there. He doesn't play that often, and Keita's going to come back in, but he's really did a good job for the minutes he's been in there.
Porter's fouled. Glover on a reach. Florida's 0 of 14. Wow. To start this ball game. Utah State and Florida. Game 2, Orange Bowl Classic. Someone's going to warm up. Orange Bowl Classic brought to you in part by Auto Nation, proud sponsor of the Orange Bowl Festival. And they give you this breakdown of the Florida Gators. Bob Wenzel.
Well, in the 3 losses, obviously you're going to score fewer points, which they do, and the opponents score more. But the bottom one is the interesting one, 22%. And sometimes that's skewed a little bit because when you're behind late, sometimes you're forced to take threes that might be contested. But Mike White is in an interesting situation. And when we interviewed him, he's clearly living with the mistakes of some of his young players. And 0 for 14, obviously, is not going to get you much.
Porter, Brito, Bean, Keita, and Miller on the floor for Utah State. Keita's back in against Blackshear. This is a fun matchup. Shot clock's down, and Blackshear pokes it away.
How about that poke? And we've been told by Denver Parlow, the SID, that there's nothing wrong with Blackshear's foot. That's just his manner of walking. And I'm glad to see that.
And that's his manner of shooting. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Nothing wrong with that, and they need it. Grad transfer, Virginia Tech, second-team All-ACC. Big expectations for Kerry Blackshear in a Florida uniform.
Brito around the screen. He's doubled. Somehow gets it through to Bean, who rolls it up and in off the glass. He's averaging a double-double by a lot, 14 and 12.
Yeah, I mean, the 12 rebounds is really impressive. Nembhard has gotten to the basket several times and has passed out when he could have shot, I thought.
Miller picks up the foul.
Here's Blackshear at the defense. Watch the poke. Hits it out from behind, creates the turnover. Then at the other end, Keita, too late. And Mike White talks about Blackshear in glowing terms, and the things he says are that he's good at everything. He doesn't say he's fantastic. He doesn't go crazy over his athleticism or anything like that. He just says he's a very good at everything in basketball. And that includes the team leadership role, but also defense, offense, rebounding. You know, he just knows how to play. He reminds me a little bit of a Florida great named Al Horford. Not quite in that class, I think, but stylistically, he's a lot like Horford.
So a 2-point game now, 9-7. Sam Merrill's back in for Utah State. This is Merrill.
I'm surprised that Nembhard is guarding Merrill. Scotty Lewis is a great defensive player. I thought he would be drawing the assignment on Merrill.
Keita waiting for Merrill to get loose. He'll take it to the bucket himself. Stumbles, goes down.
Yeah, a little awkward on that one, right? That's not his game. But to amplify a little bit, Nembhard guarding Merrill is a problem for Florida because he's going to have to be on him and get over screens and all that, which will take away from the offense of Nembhard a little bit. And I think that's a problem for Florida in this game. They need Andrews' offense.
Offensive foul away from the ball. It looked like Kyle Johnson.
So Nembhard, you watch Nembhard on this possession against Merrill. I mean, and Merrill's going to give the ball up. He's not always the point guard. He's got it now, but after he gives it up, he's going to come off screens. He's going to go underneath and move without the ball, and that is really taxing for his defender.
Merrill back to Brito. Mid-range jumper drops. And the lead is 4 for Utah State.
Even though Brito is also from Portugal, where Keita is from, they didn't know each other, you know, growing up.
There's Lewis, and his 3 is good.
Boy, that is good news for Florida fans because his shot has not been with it so far this year.
Miller, his second 3, second of many. You would expect.
More to come with him, yeah.
Bean falling away. This guy has been just terrific.
You know, when Keita was out, I mean, he was the biggest guy on the floor lots of times for them. And as you mentioned, he averages a double-double, was a walk-on at one juncture in his career. And he won. They beat South Florida coming in here. And he was the guy who got the putback in the end game situation.
Blackshear, it was a little awkward, but the step through works.
I think Blackshear's taken this a little bit as a personal deal with Keita. Keita's much bigger.
9 points, 5 rebounds for Blackshear already. Merrill, ball fake, clears himself, buries a 3.
Yeah. He's one of those silent assassins. Doesn't do anything in spectacular fashion. He's just the fundamental, Mr. Fundamental. Blackshear is going to have better luck facing than back to the basket against Keita.
Merrill on the break, drives, dishes, and Brito had it blocked. Merrill was fouled from behind by Nembhard.
Sam Merrill is very good. He's a senior. He's 6'5". He's from Bountiful, Utah. And his 3s are bountiful. Excellent from deep, excellent as a passer, excellent leader. Utah State up.
Welcome back to the BB&T Center where Gary Blackshear has 9 of Florida's 12 points. Hey, when he was looking to transfer from Virginia Tech, he had a ton of options, but he chose the University of Florida for a couple of different reasons. One, he was born and raised in Orlando, so he knew he had a chance to play close to home. 2, growing up, he was a huge Gators fan. And 3, he knew he was going to be able to play significant minutes and be a leader on a very young team. And guys, Mike White is thrilled that he chose Florida.
You got that right.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica.
That right.
And he had the terrific games in that Charleston Classic, and off the out of bounds, off the timeout.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, you talk about a quick trigger and a guy who sees the floor and knows what's going on. That is Merrill personified.
Man open for 3. Blackshear has another rebound. Thought about a 3.
I like Blackshear away from the basket against Keita.
Locke drives and finishes. That's pretty. Noah Locke, the sophomore out of Baltimore.
Did you see how Blackshear screened Keita away from the shot block? That was beautiful. That doesn't show up in the box score anywhere.
Merrill, good defense, and that's Lewis on him now. Pick and roll with Keita, and an offensive foul.
Yeah, so we got a couple of Keita being out of rhythm.
He's down.
Uh-oh.
Remember, he hurt his knee this summer in an international event.
He was
for
playing
Team Portugal.
FIBA, and Portugal was hosting. So he decided to play in that game, and it was his left knee. There was no surgery on the knee, and he has put on some weight since that time in his absence from running up and down the floor.
His head coach Craig Smith is there. Here's a look at it.
Yeah, his left knee bumps into the left knee of Keontae Johnson, and it's a charge on Keita.
Well, you hope it's just a bump and just knee against knee.
He was 218 last year. Went to the combine. NBA guys told him he's got to get stronger. So he's put on good weight, but he's carrying more weight than he carried last year at this time. He's up to 245. Take a look at it. See how the knees bump into one another? The right knee of Johnson and the left knee of Keita. From a basketball perspective, there are other bigs on this team. And we saw Dorius early in the game, and he is in there now, number 32, in place of Keita.
From a long-term perspective, that's a guy they need to be healthy to make the same type of run they did in the Mountain West.
There you go.
Florida now, man drives, pulls up, and he hangs and hits from 15.
The good news is he made that shot. The bad news is he thinks he can make it all the time now. That was not a highly percentage good shot.
Merrill's doubled, skips it to Porter, and tries to thread it in low. Somehow Dorius got the ball and then lost it out of bounds. It stays with Utah State.
I like what Florida's doing right now in terms of their quickness when the ball goes inside. Guys are attacking it, but we got free throws coming for Dorius.
Free throw is good. The Florida Lottery has contributed more than $36 billion to enhance public education in Florida and enabled more than 840,000 students to attend college on the Bright Future Scholarship. Thank you, Florida Lottery. Well, Neemias Queta is on his way out. The sophomore, Jessica Blaylock, will get us an update shortly, I'm sure. A 4-point game, Utah State on top. See where Florida started, 0-14, 5 of 7 since. Locke falling away. Missed it. Porter has the rebound. Porter and Merrill, a great combination in the Utah State backcourt. Porter drives. Bean rotates. Miller's a good three-point shooter. So is Merrill. And he just missed that one. Nembhard has the rebound.
Nembhard keeps his eyes up. He's a great passer in transition.
Johnson in traffic. Blackshear. He's fouled.
Well, those two are going to do the damage close to the basket.
Keontae Johnson has a knack for going in there among bigger people. He didn't score that time, but enabled Blackshear to get to the offensive glass. Drive right here. He draws 3 Utah State defenders, and therefore Kerry Blackshear has an open lane to get the board. Blackshear, pretty good free throw shooter, nearly 80%, and he gets fouled a lot.
Free throw is good. Florida has played, and they usually do play, a pretty ambitious non-conference schedule.
I'll say.
They have very good strength of schedule headed towards SEC play.
That will help them in the net rankings, which will become important, especially when we get into February and we start talking about teams for the NCAA tournament. The net doesn't mean very much right now because there's not enough really games that play that would make sense right now. Bean is a good player, 34.
Rolling off the screen.
How about that?
Justin Bean is 6'7", 210, and averaging a double-double.
If you look at the guys who have his kind of numbers in the country, usually they're 6'10" and 250.
Good
He's
inside.
6'7" and 210.
Keontae Johnson.
Yeah, he can do damage in there. Right now, both teams going pretty small.
Dorius the catch. Steadies himself and then walks. And stepped on the baseline at the same time.
Yeah. Craig Smith can go very small. He doesn't need a 7-footer or Keita in there. Bean can play center against Florida. Now, the risk of that is when Blackshear's in the game, he could get fouls trying to guard Blackshear. But with Payne in the game, I think he could do that and go small.
Keita is not on the bench. He left for the locker room a few minutes ago after collapsing on the floor. Contact on a drive.
What a pass.
Nembhard, it's rotated to Locke for 3.
That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
And credit Nembhard and credit the phrase "one more," which means one more pass. They got it to the best shooter on the team in Locke.
Which means one more point, the lead for Florida. Scramble for the loose ball. Lewis has it.
He wants to keep it. Slow down. If I'm Mike White and I see other guys other than Nembhard taking the ball down on the break, I get nervous.
Locke, the sophomore. Oh, look at Payne. Block there. Dorius got a piece of it for Utah State.
7'1". Dorius is feeling it right now. He doesn't play a lot, and he is fatigued right now, but he got that block. And look what Merrill does. Sensing the fatigue of his teammates, he slows it down a little bit, goes deeper into the shot clock, controls the ball.
Bean stripped away. That was Noah Locke that got a hand. Nembhard in transition. Got it back.
I like that.
Lewis. Florida has the lead. 3 minutes left first half. Nembhard. Jumper is good.
Better. The jumpers he took early were not with his legs. He just kind of flicked them up there. Andrew Nembhard, the sophomore. He's been in the NCAA tournament.
Time now for our playbook, which is sponsored by Lexus.
Well, this is teamwork, and right here, Noah Locke is the guy who's going to get the shot eventually. So watch as we go here. Let's roll it. The ball is going to get reversed to sides of the floor. And as it does, we got 5 guys on the perimeter. The drive to the baseline and stop it right there. Now, number 11, Keontae Johnson, is open. He could shoot it, but we always say one more. Go ahead and roll it. And the one more is the pass to the top of the key for your best shooter, and Locke drains it. That is beautiful basketball.
Florida opened 0 for 14 in this ball game. And all of a sudden, they find themselves on top by 3. Alfonso Anderson's back in, trying to muscle his way in, does, and scores.
Yeah, muscle is a good term to describe him. This young man, when we showed up for practice, he walked up to me. He knew that we were the announcers for the game, introduced himself. I mean, what a delightful young man. And he was starting when Keita was out, and now he's going to play big minutes here for sure.
And again, if you're just joining us, Neemias Keita has been taken to the locker room limping. Brito's 3 straight on, missed it. Remember, this is a road trip, certainly for Utah State. They started this trip in Houston, where they played South Florida, the team that we just saw give a great battle to number 19, Florida State. That's nifty. That's Lewis.
That's why he was a McDonald's All-American. He has athletic ability. He's also a smart kid, and his defense is stellar. Struggling with the offense a little. Now he's on Merrill. I like this for Florida.
Bean whips it corner. Brito again. This time it's good, and that's a 3.
It's good to have no conscience, right? It's good when you miss one that you take the next one again. Utah State will get quality shots, I'm telling you.
And Brito, like Keita, is Portuguese.
Yes, but they don't know each other previous to when they were younger.
There's only one other Portuguese player in NCAA basketball.
Is there?
Yeah, Cleveland State.
But we should count anybody from Brazil because they speak Portuguese.
Hugo Ferreira for Cleveland State, by the way.
There you go. Nice movement.
Whoa. Nice touch pass. Anderson had it up, and he was fouled. It's Omar Payne with the reach.
Boy, you talk about good movement. We highlighted Florida's movement, but that was great movement by Utah State as well. Now, Anderson's a junior college player. He wasn't there last year for the Mountain West Championship, and you know, he was at a junior college in Nebraska, and he decided to come to Logan, Utah, to play at Utah State. And he tells me he loves it up there. And of course, they have a great arena, which they sell out all the time, about 10,000 people.
The Spectrum.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, as you've been there many times, I know.
He's also a product of a great basketball high school in the Northwest Field High School up in the Seattle area. Nemhard, the trailer is locked. Blackshear's back in. 27 apiece. Scotty Lewis.
No. Air ball.
I thought for a second that was Mike White in our microphone.
you got to know a little bit about. Oh, when I said no.
Yes. I thought we had the coach mic'd up.
You know, you got to know what you're good at. You know, and he's not good at that yet. He will be, but not yet.
Porter with the shot clock running down. Off to Merrill. Rises up. And Bean crashes the boards. Brito had it. And if it's a held ball, it's Utah State's. 7 seconds left in this first half. Sluggish start for Florida. Utah State has been fits and starts as well offensively. Creative. Baseline out of bounds. Anderson's got to get a shot up. No, his pass is tipped. And there's 1.3 seconds left.
Great alert play by Scotty Lewis. On a catch, Porter could have gotten a 3-up in rhythm.
Don't have much time here. Brito, catch, shoot, miss.
27-27. Two good teams didn't get off to good starts, but we're going to see more good plays in the second half.
Michael White, head coach of the Florida Gators, with our Jess Blaylock. Jess?
Thanks so much, Rich. Coach, after a slow start, what finally got you going offensively?
Just they went in for us, right? I mean, it's a shot-making game. You got to make shots. I liked our shots early. I actually like our tempo, the way the ball's popping a little bit against a really good team, a really good defense. We got to convert at a higher level, especially around the rim. Couple questionable ones there late half. They're so hard to guard as well.
How would you evaluate the defensive effort that you've seen so far?
Pretty good. Got to be better, though. I mean, they're a team that's I think has got a chance to play deep into March, and they've got terrific players. They run good stuff. When you make a mistake, they make you pay. You got to foul less as well. We've just got to be better overall in the second half to have a chance.
Appreciate the time. Thanks so much. Rich, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jess. Orange Bowl Classic, Florida and Utah State, both expected to get to the dance. A little holiday treat and a tight first half. 27 apiece. We return to Sunrise, Florida after the break.